You need to hear this. How do you run a business as a woman in India for more than 25 years in a row and build it into something that is comparable to a temple? So, as said in the podcast, when you visit Kolkata, you have to visit Kali, the mandir, the temple, and Kali, the fashion house, Kali, the store, and get yourself a dress. So, here we have an incredible woman, an incredible lady who's been running this business. Let's roll the intro. Let's take a deep dive into Kali. What it is it doing, and where it is now.
So Kali, as I said, way back we started in 1995. It was at that time, fashion had just sort of, a new bubble of fashion had come where Tarun had come, Rohit Bal was there, and these people were opening stores.
What got that idea into your head and why did you go that way?
Truly speaking, the idea was not mine.
How has the taste and the design of a 25-year-old Anita Mody changed when it became a 35-year-old Anita Mody to a 45-year-old to a 55?
I have really never thought about it.
So basically we started this. You are our second person who we're going to be doing it with. So you're our first person who's going to get a question that is not from us, but from our previous guest.
Oh. Hi guys, this is Anita Mody from Calcutta, a designer who's been in this profession for almost 27 years. And it's been a pleasant journey, which Vishwat wants me to share with you all. So this is how we begin.
All right. So let's start with where the journey began. Can you tell us more about where you came from? What was the...
So I was this girl who was very fond of clothes. And I'm a girl from Bombay. I was late and got married in Cal. And clothes has always, fashion has been my passion, And with anything in my hand to spend, it was to be all spent in clothes. So I got married and I came to Cal and I had this opportunity. My sister was there, cousin, who was into making clothes. And, in those time back in the 90s, people used to do from the home, from their garages, So we two got together and did small exhibitions. So this is how we started, We started with, way back it was saris. So we started doing some saris. Then 2-3 years down the line, we started doing kurtas. And I was enjoying it. So I said, we continued, I think, for almost 7-8 years from home. And then she shifted to Singapore. So when she shifted to Singapore, she suggested to me that, let's open a store because it was around that time. I think we started in 1995. It was at that time, fashion had just sort of, a new bubble of fashion had come where Tarun had come, Rohit Bal was there, and these people were opening stores. And, a whole new generation of designers came in. So we thought she had this space and she said, okay, let's open a store where we'll get garments from these designers and we'll start selling them. So this is how we started, where we got fashion from Delhi and Bombay and we started the store called Kali.
So your store predates me.
Yes, definitely. And so it has been a wonderful journey for me. A lot of learning, and I have really enjoyed this journey. Now Vishwat is here to know more about my journey and Akhil.
So let's take a deep dive into Kali. What it is it doing, and where it is now.
So Kali, as I said, way back we started in 1995. We are quite an old store in Calcutta, and we have survived it beautifully. And we have our own identity. But the only difference is that now I as a designer, I'm making my own clothes and selling my own brand. And we have one or two more in-house brands. And over the years, I realized that, I had the talent to make clothes, and why not exploit my own talent instead of going to designers and, taking their clothes and reselling, which the profitability was not very good. And then I realized that I'm loving what I'm doing more than selling other people's garments. So in 1995, we started the studio, Kali, which is influenced by the goddess Kali, which is so well connected with Calcutta.
I think Calcutta and Kali go hand in hand.
Hand in hand. I think we got a beautiful name. I mean, it's total women empowerment, which we are talking of. And incidentally, we got this name from our architect or our interior designer. He was from Bengal. His name was Arjun Mangaldas. And I think he gave us a beautiful name.
I think Kali and Calcutta are so synonymous, Any
Absolutely.
person from Calcutta, you mention Kali and they're like, Joy Ma. So,
Jai Ma.
it's just it's a
But
thing.
just I think people, when they come to shop to Cal or they come for any weddings or any visits, so Jesse, people go to the Kali temple, they come to our fashion temple.
As we say, matha tekne jana padega har jagah. So they go to the temple to get the blessings and they go to you to get their clothes.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful thing we have done for Calcutta, I think.
I think you couldn't get a name more synonymous to Calcutta and the people here.
How come we didn't think about it? Sometimes it
I
happens.
think with the three of you starting, three women in 1995, I don't know any.
I think we were, the second store. That time one store had opened here, which was Xenon, and we were the second store, which is open.
My God, the difference. Xenon on one side and Kali on the other.
And believe me, when we did the opening, Malaika Arora was one of our models.
Wow.
I mean, she's become very big now. I don't know whether she remembers, but she was part of our endeavor, because we got our whole team from Bombay. Meher Jaisia was there. Even she was one of the very known models and a choreographer.
So, where did this bug of designing start?
I told you, it started way back when I was young. Passion for clothes.
Passion for clothes is something, but design?
In those days, back, we had this tailor system where one used to go to the tailor, make their own garments, get the fabric, go to the tailor, stitch your own clothes. So I think I had it. I think it was inborn in me.
Amazing.
Yeah. Though India has this system still where women make their own, buy fabrics. It's toned down a lot, but there are yet a lot of people who are like doing their own clothes.
Like this video, we have a lot more in the pipeline. It's like really rolling in fast now. We have more people coming in, more people wanting to come in, and you guys are the reason for that. Like it now. So talking about change, how were you able to keep up? Like 95 to now is 28 years. 28 years, the world looks different. The impact.
I think, it's really changed. The fashion scene has changed tremendously. And I think it's for the good it has changed. And we have kept our, our USP. Like, we have affordable, wearable fashion. We are not fast fashion. And I'm more into casual clothing than, couture. So, and I'm catering to a section of women who are like my age. A few of the youngsters are there because the whole fashion scene has changed. The styling has changed. But I have kept myself still in a mode where women of my age are still with the latest trends plus a blend of the old age. I mean, the yesteryears.
Yeah, fusion fashion, as they call it.
Fusion fashion. That's the right. And I think the best thing is when my clients come and tell me that we still have your garments which are 5 years old or 10 years old. We don't want to throw it away. So that's the best compliment that I have got.
Doing sustainability before it was cool.
Yeah. Now it's a big thing, sustainability. So fashion has evolved a lot. And the trend keep on changing. There was a time when everything used to be a little slow paced. But now it's like at a click of a button, it's like, oh God, it's changed now the look. But there are some things constant in life. So we have kept that constant aspect with the modern trends.
So just taking it back again. Now, you said you were doing reselling 6 or 7 years before you even started Kali. So this is late 80s, early 90s. How did that start? Or what made you want to do that?
You know what happened? Selling garments from these designers, we realized that we are not making money. And in between, I think after 2 years, I had started doing a small collection for the store. And I realized that my clothes are doing well. So I had started like with one or two tailors and, a small setup at home, like we call the garage designer. So then I realized that my clothes are selling well and people are liking it and the affordability is great. Because when you talk of these brands, there's definitely a big difference. So then I realized that why not go more into it? And it happened very gradually. The shift from designers into our local brands or my brand. Because as we started making money on our own brands and as we were losing more money on the designers from whom we were buying, so we started doing this more and more, and then gradually, I think 90% of the garments in Kali is Anita Mody.
So I want to take it a little one step back. How did the reselling start? What prompted that?
Reselling of whose garments?
Of the designers when you started out, when you first started with you, when you were not doing your own design, when Anita Mody was not the brand, what got that idea into your head and why did you go that way?
Truly speaking, the idea was not mine. It was of my sister and her husband who had this, place. So they said, Anita, we've got this place and, he's, there's this new concept in fashion. So why don't you open a store and get clothes and sell out there? So that's how we started. And initially it was very good. People said, wow, now we're having all designer clothes in Calcutta. It'll be so easy now. But when they used to see the tags, they were not very happy. They were quite disappointed. It's too expensive. Though Calcutta has come a long way, and I think each and every brand is now opening a store in Calcutta. And yet we are surviving that beautifully.
Amazing.
There's an Azad, there is Ilahe, there is Ogan. All the big brands, Ensemble is not there. It's yet to come. So all the big brands in the last 1.5 year have stationed themselves here.
I kind of want to know your process of customer acquisition at the time. How do you reach out to somebody and tell them, see, Kali is a new brand, it exists, I'm doing my own designs, you should buy from my brand rather than buying from anybody else?
Way back in the 90s.
When you started, today all you need to do is create an Instagram page and create a reel. But
yeah, those days it was not.
How did you do it when maybe even phones were not as common?
It was word to mouth. It was word to mouth. And I used to, go out of Cal and do exhibitions. Once when my brand was well taken as Anita Mody, so I started doing once a year exhibitions in Bombay. Then we shifted to Delhi. And now we are in Bangalore also. So once a year we go there. So it was basically word to mouth. And, people, whoever used to come to my Bombay exhibition, then in Delhi exhibition, it happened, I think, word to mouth. And, like the clothes speak. That's what brings a person back.
I think one person buys the clothes, loves wearing it, and tells their friends about it.
And then they are back also. And we basically uh, have more outstation customers than the local. As I told you, Kali is a destination where whoever comes to Cal in terms of shopping, or if they are visiting for marriages or any purpose, I think 80% people drop in into us too.
What kind of time horizon does it take to build something like this? Because, it can't be smooth sailing from the get-go. It has to take like a lot of time to actually build it into that.
I would say God has been very kind to me. It happened gradually, and that time your expectations were also not much. You were not looking at turnovers. You were just looking here. You are comfortable. You are not giving money from your pocket, and those days were different. And I started this as more like a pastime. So there was not a lot of pressure on us. Ki we are not making ends meet. It was nice and comfortable.
But as you said, you were also not taking any money from family. You were paying your own expenses.
Yeah, we were doing that. So that is why now when we realized that the designers whose clothes we were selling, we were not really making money. So I started my own brand. We were making more money on our own brand. And gradually, I did one collection, I did two collections. Then it became 25% of the store. Then it became 50%. Now it's become almost 90%. Because definitely you will go where there is sales, where there's money, where people are back to you. But my exhibitions helped me a lot. Going out of Calcutta. But now it's very important that I'm on Instagram, though I'm not a hardcore social person. Since my daughter has joined in, so she's looking into it.
How have you dealt with that change? So you are primarily word of mouth, going catering to people outside of Calcutta, used to the slower sort of way of operating.
Of marketing, yeah.
How does that change over time?
It has not changed me.
Not you, but how has that changed the brand? How has that changed the way you work
I
over
think as a brand, I need to get more socially connected with people. But, I'm like a very laid-back person where this is concerned. And it's my daughter who is pushing me into it. So I said, because I'm happy where I am. Basically, I'm a very content person. I'm not a very ambitious person. I think so. I don't know whether this sounds good or bad, but I'm happy because, and actually, the generation that I'm dealing with, it's not so much into this part of marketing. They're more in, like getting to see the garment, coming over, trying it, Like last time also, we spoke about it. It's a much better way of selling. But in time to come, I guess I have to think of change. We'll take it slowly.
Did you share our last video? Do you know how fun oat milk can be? Do check that one out and share this one. Share it. Share it today. What are you waiting for? My mom will never go to a website and order clothes. She needs to touch it, feel it. She needs to be like, oh, how will I know if I'll find it comfortable or not until I wear it? And even if we tell her that you can always return it and get another one, she'll be like, no, I don't want to return anything. I just want to make the right decision in the first.
So I'm still with a lot of people who are still into our world. And I'm sure there has to be somebody for them also. So my daughter is joining in, and she's now taking an active part in my business, though she's a economics student, a finance student. But I guess she's got my passion also.
So how did it evolve your designs? So
How do
your
I
design,
evolve?
because your design right now is for women who are around your age, right? But when
Around
you
my
started off, they must be of your age, right? So when you start off
Yeah.
when you're 18, 19, you are catering the 18, 19-year-olds, and they evolve with you
I
as time
started
goes.
when I was 24, 25.
Okay. So the designs of the 25-year-olds versus the designs
See,
of the
fashion,
now.
as I told you, has changed a lot. So way back in the 95, I was like, that was what was happening in the world. It's not that right now also I'm with times. It's not that I'm absolutely sort of, it. I am moving with times, I feel. But it is catering to people my genre.
So I think what Akhil was trying to ask is, how has the taste and the design of a 25-year-old Anita Mody changed when it became a 35-year-old Anita Mody to a 45-year-old to a 55? So how has that progression been, and how have you managed to inspire yourself? What have you used as inspiration, and how have you seen yourself improve, evolve? What has that journey been like of Anita Mody, the designer, through her different ages, and how she has catered to the different age groups that she has gone through?
I have really never thought about it because things came so sort of, it just comes into you. There is no study to it. There is no sort of, you see what is happening around in the fashion world around you. So you do get influenced by that. But it's not that you have, I think it's very natural in me. It comes very naturally. I'm seeing, I'm observing, and I'm picking up, and I'm putting it into style through my thoughts and concepts.
I think I'm going to use a personal example here. I know my mum, at least, she swears by you and she says your powers of observation are phenomenal, and which is why she always is leaning on you for anything and everything. So I think I can attest to the fact that your observational skills are amazing.
I don't know, but I always had an eye for, fashion or clothes or where color is concerned, where embroidery is concerned. I think these senses has to be in you, where you understand colors, you can combine colors, you can combine embroideries, where, I'm into a lot of old techniques of embroidery, which way back it's called Zardozi, Ari, and then I did a lot of printing, I did a lot of dyeing. So these things, it's not that I've gone into any college and learned all this. It was just with the people around me and picking up things and putting it together. That was the best part of it, that it has come to me naturally.
Is there any instance that comes to mind where you've picked up something from someone around you?
In sense, someone around
Like
me.
how you're saying these techniques you picked up from seeing in
So
any particular instance that you can remember?
No, we had, I collect a lot of books also on old embroideries and on old textiles. But it was a process where you learn with the people whom you are working, like my co-workers. Like, suppose my head embroidery man, my dyer. I will just explain to him, this is what I want. So he will talk about the technique. So is with the my tailor, where we sit and do the concept. This is the look. So now the girls who are coming, or the guys who are coming, they're all learning it in colleges, the different patterns, how to cut. Though I don't know how to cut or stitch a garment, I know to style it.
Let's
Okay.
talk about the now. Let's talk about people who are gonna come into the industry now. So
Wow.
if somebody is coming into this industry, what
We
kind
have
of a
lovely
team do
people.
they need?
Huh?
What kind of a team do they need? What kind of money do they need to actually start something like this? And what should their focus be on?
I think people coming now have got a lot more competition than I started, and they need more expertise. They need more sort of training. Though in India, it's we have this whole concept of garage designers. Though it's people start with just two tailors, start at home, get fabrics. But if somebody has to survive long and get something out of them naturally, it has to be inbuilt, definitely. But now they need to have a training to go to these fashion colleges and learn all the different aspects.
Can you break down the two words? Can you break down expertise and training? Because they are massive words, right? So what involves expertise and training?
Expertise, first comes the training. Expertise will come only once you're trained. So first you need to get trained. Definitely a designer has to have an inbuilt passion, and it's like you have it in you to design clothes. But with that, now you need to get trained. If you don't get trained, down the line, you will not be able to survive. Fashion, like it's becoming like fast fashion and solid competition. We have a designer coming up, I think, every hour now.
How have you dealt with that competition? Have you thought about it at all, or have you just
No,
ignored
I'm
it?
too loving. I'm loving the clothes that I'm seeing around me, and I'm so happy. There's so much of talent, and these young girls and boys who are coming up, they are doing wonderful job. The concept, though we are quite influenced by the West, because our way of dressing up has changed. I don't know if you boys have noticed. So the concept of fashion has changed. But I guess you have to move with times.
Criticism, feedback, questions. Write whatever you have in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. What was that one moment that sort of jolted you? You said you started this as a pastime. What changed it from a pastime to a business?
I don't know. I've never thought about it. But when I started seeing, I need to give time to it and make it run properly like a business, and there was sort of viability in it. So I said, why not do it properly? So then I started keeping more people, designing more clothes, selling more clothes. That's how it started.
You were telling me about the whole renting thing, that when you started, you didn't have to pay rent, and then...
Yes, yeah. There was this thing now. I told you we started with my cousin. So when we started, it's usually, one doesn't take the load of the rent because it was our own property. So we were like sailing through, selling the designer clothes, not making money enough to pay the staff. And we were like sailing through. And then she shifted to Singapore, and then like from 3 we became 2, and we had to look at it as giving her rent because we wanted to do that. So then we said, and now how much can we give from our pockets? And God had been kind, and my clothes started picking up, and we started keeping the designer wear at little bay, and that's how we started. Gradually it started working. As I told you way back, there was not a lot of load on us. Finances. We said, okay, we are managing, and we were pill about it. And I said, God has also been kind to us. We are managing to do very well.
I love the humble nature of the conversation where you are like, God has been kind to us. But there are numerous fashion houses that have started and then crashed and then started and then crashed, right?
Yeah,
even during your time, there were numerous.
Having a slow and steady growth. That is the most important thing I think one must realize, is to take step by step. Not just, we have to reach the top. And you have to go slowly.
So
times have changed. Your generation needs to be on the top floor before they are missing all the steps in between.
Our generation is in a hurry.
We are in a massive hurry.
No, I think you have to be in a hurry because, as I said, times have changed. I mean, you really have to be very serious with what you do. And I mean, I agree with y'all. Y'all, please keep in pace with time.
I think more than keeping pace with time, there has become an inherent need to just keep re-evaluating yourself, because there is so much happening. There is overload of content, overload of everything, thanks to our devices, our internet, everything. So we have at least noticed that very often, even between two episodes, we will realize, oh, there's this we missed this, there's this new thing, there's this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 suddenly. And every time we're like, oh, we're repeating our learning processes on something completely different, which is making what we produce better. But it's requiring that much extra effort.
But we are talking of two different industries. I mean, yours is like totally like, you know, every minute there is something on the social media, and it's too much. I know when I just click a button, I can just say this topic and I'll get 10 options in it. So y'all are a little different from us. We are not so fast because your production is like within minutes, you are in everybody's home, in everybody's life. We will take maybe a week or 10 days to build up the garment, to put it ahead. I think that's the difference.
Kali is about women empowerment, right? Kali by itself stands for women empowerment. At the time you started, I reckon there were not a lot of women in business, especially in India. So was it hard to be women in business? Was it against societal
Oh,
norms to
no,
be women in business? So how
not
was
at all.
that
It
experience like?
was not at all difficult. It was like people accepted me beautifully. My family, I had a big support of my family because my children were very small that time, and I was actually working from home. You see, my workshop was at home. So, and I had a very good support, and my family had a very good sort of take to it. They were not like, this is not what you're supposed to do. But yeah, I think they were quite proud of the fact that, I've opened a store and I'm a known designer. That's
I
it.
think for me, you've always been that one beacon of women empowerment. I think when someone talks about women, empowered women, or women who are leading the way, I know you're one of the first people who come into mind for me.
See, I don't know if I'm empowered or not because I think as a child, my parents brought me up like they have brought up their son. We were given equal opportunities. We were never told, Ki, you are a girl, so you cannot travel in a taxi. You are a girl, so you cannot travel alone. So we were always given a lot of equal opportunities, whether it was my brother or it was my sister. Maybe we were from Bombay, and Bombay being a little advanced city. But we had no such hang ups and we were equal. Girls were never put down. And I don't know about empowerment, but women don't need to be told that they are empowered. It comes naturally in them, I think.
I don't know, I think it's what you're saying should be very basic. Unfortunately, in a lot of India, it is not.
It is not. But with the progressive parents around you, it is now becoming, times have really changed from, I got married in 80 and now it has really changed. And I think it's about the family that you come from, which makes a lot of difference. That, my parents always told me that you can do it. Whether you're a girl, it makes no difference. That's the basics. And I think each and every daughter or a girl in India should be told that she has it in her. It comes naturally.
Kali is nearing its 28th year, running. If you had to pick one top moment, one moment where you were like, yes, I can now say that we are successful? What would that be? And one moment where you say, this was my biggest challenge, or this was when, this was the obstacle that I had to overcome, however you want to put it. What would, if we had to look at two moments from the 28-year history of Kali, what would those two moments?
See, every day for me has been a learning process, never a challenge. When a client walks into your store and she picks up your garment, or she is talking about the fit or the styling, or something that's not suiting her, something that's is very good for her, so that is the biggest process of learning, is when you are with your clients, that they teach you. Somebody who's worn your clothes and appreciated it, or has been critical about it, so that is something that is the best master for you. And as I said, I never felt any challenge. I took it very lightly and enjoyed it. Life has not been difficult for me in terms of fashion, and in terms of Kali.
What about success?
I don't know whether I'm successful or not, but it's that we are surviving 28 years. So I guess we are doing well and we are successful. And I think success, just the word success, doesn't make you successful. It's the feeling that you are happy within you. What you are doing is what you want to do, and people are liking it.
I am referring to that feeling only. I am not asking you to judge yourself from my perspective. I'm asking you to judge yourself from your perspective. From your perspective, from 95 when you started, was there a point where you were like, okay, yes, this is working. This is where we're good, or I am good, or just for yourself, was there ever that realization? Was there ever that feeling?
It is, this realization started coming to me with when I was doing my exhibitions in Bombay, in Delhi, and when we were like sold out. And there was like a massive rush to come into our store, into our halls, So that time I realized, just see how people are crazy about your clothes. This is way back late 90s, when the industry was not so exposed, We didn't have so many fashion houses. So that was the time I used to, everybody in my family and everybody in Bombay, Delhi used to say, wow, what a crowd you are pulling in. So that was the time when I realized, yes, I have a potential as a brand, and I can go a long way. And I have been a long way, I think.
Your daughter coming to work with you now, how has that been
That has
as
been
an experience?
a wonderful experience. She is taking a lot of responsibilities from me, so makes my life more easy. And she is giving it, like, I was not into Instagram, into digital marketing. So she's looking into that aspect and she's convincing me that, Mom, you need to do this, you need to do this, So we are gradually going there. And I have one very big support is my partner. Incidentally, she's my sister-in-law also, Indu Tibrewala. So she takes care of all the finances. So there is one big, I'm very bad with this. I'm very bad with figures and with numbers. And she has been a great help, in making Kali what it is today, making it successful. And we blend beautifully as partners. She looks after the business part, I look after the designing part, and she's always guiding me through.
Big red button down there says subscribe. Click it. Click it now. Click it.
Do you and your daughter have conflicts?
A little, which is, it should be there also. Through this critical moments that you learn, both of us learn a lot. She will learn from my experience. Sometimes she is right, sometimes I am wrong. So there is a learning process. And I'm also learning a lot from her.
Do you have the veto over her? Are you the
No,
deciding vote?
No, not at all. I'm a very flexible person. And she has always been a very good advisor. I look up on her.
She's joining you in the design side of things, or is she taking over her own side of things in that, as you say, the marketing part of it is?
No, she's also looking into the design part, and I'm telling her and convincing her to start her own label. There's a new feel to our garments, which is a little younger. And it's basically my daughter, whose name is Upasika. She is designing that section, but she is not using her label. She says, no, mom, let it be under your label. She's being a little too sweet to me.
How's that really big happy another designer?
Beautiful. I mean, my own daughter doing, following my passion. I think it's a blessing for me also.
So, because as you said, you work as the sole designer in the company. So, how has it been having another person doing designing? How
it has been a big help, and somebody who is in sync with you, yet who has its own identity. So it's a blend of today and of tomorrow, because even she values what I have been doing, and even she understands that Kali as a label or Anita Mody as a label has a set of designers who are, looking for a particular style. And she is also trying to get the youngsters into it. So I think she has been a big help to me.
So basically, we started this. You are our second person who we're going to be doing it with. So you're our first person who's going to get a question that is not from us, but from our previous guest.
Okay.
So we ask this last question where you have to give a one-line brief response. Yeah. So we ask you to do two things. One, we ask you to give a response to the question. And second, we're going to ask you to give a question that we ask the next guest who we have, so that we can, keep this going.
So we have a question for you. It was from our last guest. If not this, what would it be that would not make you sleep at night?
I can't think of anything. Because like I told you, it's been my passion, And like, as you said, I'm very humble and God has put me on the right track. I can't think of anything. I think I would have landed up being a normal housewife.